with you to start a recording.
Thank you.
Commissioners, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
We're recording.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is a meeting of the Boulder County Commissioners. It is November 9th, 2021. All three commissioners are present, and today we're here for a budget work session where we go through the budget and give direction to staff on top of the recommended budget that they previously presented at a meeting, and then we will have a formal adoption of the budget in December. But Aaron, do you want to jump in and help us understand what we're doing today?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Jones. Aaron Pratt, Budget Director, Office of Financial Management. Today is the third process of our total budget process, leading us to the December 9th, 2020, December 9th adoption of the 2022 budget. This is the BOCC work session, and as Commissioner Jones indicated, this is where the Office of Financial Management gets direction from the Board of County Commissioners on all the BOCC decision point items that were not a part of the recommended budget. Again, the recommended budget indicated items that were new statutory requests, prior approved projects, had a revenue offset, and met the requirements of the 2022 budget instructions that went out in April. So with this process, we'll get direction from the commissioners for all of those BOCC decision point items. And again, that information is on the public facing website under the budget page, and the link is currently on the screen below.
All right, is that what you had, Aaron?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. So what we'll do is we'll talk about compensation first, and we'll go to the positions and the items that are in the budget itself. And I'll just start by saying the obvious. It's been a tough almost 2 years now with the pandemic, and we as commissioners recognize that. And we know it's tough on all of us, including everybody who works here and provides service for people in Boulder County. On top of that, we like to say, and I really believe it, our employees are our best asset. And we want to reward people for their good work to the best we can within the budget constraints. And so we're going to talk about compensation. Marty, do you want to jump in? And then Claire will go, and then I'll kind of wrap up, and then we'll go to the positions.
Sure. Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Buenas tardes. I want to just quickly similarly acknowledge the amount of work and the commitment and the extra give that everybody has been sharing in the last almost 2 years. And so this conversation where we're starting today around compensation was really important to the board together about how do we, one, in the time of a great resignation, how do we keep our employees? How do we retain our employees? Because just recruiting great folks is not going to provide the long-term service that we are known for in Boulder County. And how do we also honor each of you and the work and the commitments that you have done over the last couple of years specifically, and a lot of you a lot longer as county employees. So that was really important here in the compensation package. And so I'm just going to go over a couple of the points here specifically to talk about a couple pieces of the compensation that we know folks are asking about and curious about. And the first few pieces are around merit, which we have allocated a 2.9% pool, have approved market adjustments that have been recommended to the board, and also approving the recommendation of a range movement of up to 1.8%. And I'm going to pass this over to Commissioner Levy to share a little bit more about the compensation package. And again, we're just really thankful for all of you and your work.
Yeah, thanks. And so, yeah, we decided since this is what everybody shows up for. You didn't show up for the rest of it. Everybody wants to know what's it going to mean for compensation. That we're going to share the pleasure of our decisions on compensation. And before I share just the three aspects components that I'm going to share, I wanted to echo what both Commissioner Jones and Commissioner Lochamin have said, which is that we wanted to make sure that this budget really brought our pay scale in line with market conditions so that we were not undervaluing our employees. And we can't expect people to remain here at Boulder County and work as hard as you all do if we're underpriced according to the market. We know there are a lot of choices out there, and we want to keep you here. So we accepted the recommendation, and what we're sharing is the recommendation that came out of HR so that we could have the most competitive compensation scale that we possibly could. The other thing I wanted to share on this is that this year we decided to build the budget a different way. And so we wanted to make the compensation decisions first so that we could look at what we needed to do to compensate fairly to stay up with the market, and then build the rest of the budget. See, well, what do we have left over for capital improvement, for operating expenses, for additional FTE, rather than the other way around, which is, as I was told when we started this process, was the way it had been done. And so it felt like if you are our best asset, and we wanted to make sure that we addressed compensation first before we started looking at the rest of the budget. So the three components that I'm going to talk about are that we are funding a pay band that's going to consolidate a lot of different pay bands, make those more simple, and as a result, some people are going to get bumped up in their pay range, and we're funding that to the tune of a little over $321,000. The sheriff's step process, we are funding 1.5 steps, so that because the sheriff has a different system than the rest of the county has, we are funding that at $742,000. And then because of state law, we have to increase the employer contribution to para. And the employee contribution also increased under state law, but the employer contribution is going up by $431,000. So those are the other components of the compensation package.
Yeah, so it kind of in summary, the merit's 2.9, the market adjustment's 1.8. So on average, employees will be getting a 4.7% raise, if you will, just to simplify it. Now, the merit is distributed in different ways by different department directors, but on average, it's 4.7 million. The other thing, the sheriffs will catch up, if you will, and make up for last year and fully fund so that they're at 9 years to get to their maximum with the objective of eventually getting to 8 years. And for the budget, this is a lot of money. It's interesting to watch. This is the quickest way to grow your budget, because once you award the money, it's in the budget and it builds on itself and year in, year out. And it's about $10.5 million altogether to the county. And we really need to balance our budget and be smart about how we budget. And that's a lot of money, just so you know. But it's important. I mean, you guys, you folks are doing the work for the county, and we appreciate you so much. And that's $7 million out of the general fund, which is the most restricted fund, which you probably know as well. But in any case, we just think it's important to step up, and this is as much as we could do. This is what was recommended, and like last year, we didn't do quite the whole thing. So I know there's a lot of challenges for people financially, and hopefully we did as well as we could for people, because they're doing the same for the people we serve. So thank you for that. Now we'll go to the capital expenses and FTE, and we'll each take a turn, and we'll start with Marta.
Great, thanks everybody. So there's some good news in regards to compensation, and thank you again to Boulder County employees and staff. Before I start in this next section of the 2022 budget decision package request list, we're going to look at a couple different things, but I want to say thank you to Aaron Proud, our budget director, to Ramona Penner, to our OFM department, to Jillian, and all the staff who has put a lot of work together to meet with us, to present since September, to update on changes, doing reviews, prioritizing, and then reprioritizing so that we could really respond to not just one-time cost, ongoing requests, capital costs, and FTE. I also just want to, take this time to, we're really looking at some opportunities here for Boulder County. And again, how do we create the best public service, as well as allow you all to and support you all with funding resources to do the jobs that you are all doing day in and day out. And so the other encouragement when we bring on almost 19.5 FTEs, how do we use and the goals that we have at the county, our strategic priorities of centering race and looking at diverse candidates and reaching out to from the mountains to the plains in the work that we are all doing as we continue also striving really hard here and thriving together in the midst of a global pandemic. So that being said, let me start with this first few pages of this package. And what you'll see in here is both yellow highlight and blue highlight. The yellow highlight, you'll see a recommended budget. And then it is our OFM, Office of Financial Management, their recommended budget items. And then here in a moment, we'll see some of the blue pieces as well. That is our items that we are adding in as additions. So the first pieces here, and I'm actually going to go look at my page. So give me a quick second here. Oh, thank you. So the recommended budget. So the first pieces here that are, we're looking at Fund 101 for this first section of the packet, capital expenses, Capital 1, the alternative sentencing facility management software. Again, the yellow items are what was recommended to the Board of County Commissioners from the Office of Financial Management that have been accepted and will be recommended or approved to move forward to that December meeting that Aaron discussed earlier. Again, also phone replacement phase 2, the elections BAS first floor mail sorter, API integration, and BAS second floor development continuation, core firewall replacement. These are still one-time costs that we're talking about from Fund 101, the replacement of room wizards at St. Brian Hub, SEIM centralized log maintenance, the juvenile center security system, and project portfolio management and asset management systems discovery. So all of those one-time costs to IT capital have been approved. If you look further down into the next section of County Fleet Capital, General Fund 101 still, these were going into Capital 2 costs, Capital 2 recommendations that are moving forward to the 2022 budget, Boulder County Fleet Replacement requirements for FY 2022. And that's as much as I can see on my screen. I don't know who's driving the. Thank you.
Commissioner Lochamin, did
Yeah.
you want to mention the additions that the board recommended to what the budget office had recommended?
Yes, I did. And I think I'm looking, the screen is showing something different than I was looking at on my computer. So hang on a second. And I'll get out of this, what I'm looking at on the screen, and I'll go to my own.
Yeah, and if we could just mention the decision points for the commissioners, that'd be great. All the yellow we are required in one way or the other to do. Ongoing projects, state statute, that kind of thing.
Okay, let me get into my own screen here. Yeah, it looks, my page looks different than what we were just looking at on the screen. So is that okay if I just use what I'm looking at, or should I share mine?
That'd be great.
No,
Which
you can look at your screen, and in this presentation piece. Sorry, Aaron Pratt, Budget Director, Office Financial Management. So I'll show this presentation piece, and you can go by your personal information. And as we move from screen to screen, use yours to compare what's on the screen of the BOCC decision points that you will give us direction if you want it to in the budget or not.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so we were through project portfolio management and asset management systems discovery in the first section in Capital One projects. And then the next items that I'm going to go through here are the Board of County Commissioners giving direction today to Office of Financial Management to include as additions to the 2022 budget. The first one of those items, still in that same section, is one-time Capital One costs, is the rewrite of BCPOS and LWIS. And then the VDI or ESRI cloud discovery. The mobile device management discovery. And then Canvas learning management system. And then if we go down to the County Fleet Capital General Fund, still in Fund 101 as other one-time costs, the Boulder County fleet replacement requirements for fiscal year 22, I already talked about. That one was part of the Office of Financial Management recommended budget item that's been approved. The next one that is approved as additions, the following three are the Coroner Ford F-150 addition, the 3 HHS Toyota RAV4 AWD replacements, and the HHS transfer to fund fleet replacements. So those three are additional, and the Board of County Commissioners is asking the Office of Financial Management to add those into the 2022 budget. As always, as we talk about electric where available, hybrid where available, and we also know that there are some vehicles that that still don't on the market match those wishes. Let's see here. So if I go to page 2 on 22, the first one here, Sheriff's fleet replacement requirements for fiscal year 22. Again, that where it's highlighted in yellow, that's Office of Financial Management has recommended those, and the board has accepted that recommendation for the budget. We are still in the Sheriff's fleet capital, still General Fund 101 one-time costs. And then the three there that the Board of County Commissioners is giving direction to add into the 2022 budget is SWAT bomb entry vests, helmets, ear protection, the bomb robot replacement, and the disaster management vehicle. And if we move into the next section for Coroner Office, and again, thank you to everybody who spent time presenting, sending updates, reprioritizing to help us make these decisions. In, again, Fund 101, this one's a combination of both one-time and ongoing costs. And the items that the Board of County Commissioners is giving direction to Office of Financial Management today to include in the 2022 budget is Family Assistance Coordinator, the operational expenses with that same, in that same line, the desk and computer as one-time cost connected to that position. As well, the Board of County Commissioners is giving direction to OFM for approval of the medical investigator, the operational expenses, and the one-time cost of desk and computer to get that position filled and started. The other one on there is the Motorola dual band radios that the Board of County Commissioners, we had discussion about this, and There's just safety and our ability. We all know the terrain in Boulder County is everywhere from the mountains with no Wi-Fi access and very hard to communicate all the way down to the plains and in our cities. And so those were the items that we are directing to add into the budget for the Coroner Office. And then I will go to page 3 of the packet. And again, for folks who might just be jumping in right now, the yellow items are recommended budget. That's highlighted in yellow is Office of Financial Management is recommending these items. This section under CPP, the yellow items of Planner, Development Review Team, Administrative Technician, this is a half-time FTE to 100% FTE, a revenue offset for 0.5 admin tech, permit specialist to do short-term rentals focus, revenue offset for permit specialists, and then consulting services for plan review and inspection. We've heard from department heads, we've heard from staff, we've gone out and met with as many groups as we had and met in staff meetings, and we understand that the work that needs to get done needs support. And so we really looked at these, all these different positions, and also want to give a shout out to our county administrator, Jana Peterson, who really worked with a lot of department heads and staff to help us with these prioritizations as well. So those yellow ones, again, are part of the Office of Financial Management's recommended budget and have been approved by the board. The next section are some ongoing and one-time costs that the board is giving direction to Office of Financial Management today to include in the 2022 budget, starting with, and again, we're in the community permitting and planning, formerly land use, revenue offset for consulting, a web specialist that was really specifically trying to do keep moving on the COVID and online work and making as the information and the work there is accessible for folks to help support cutting down some of the wait times and experience that folks have been really working to respond to from constituent and resident needs. With that web specialist, there's a one-time operational expense, and then also the other operational expenses that are listed there. Office supplies for CPMP and membership funds, so we can make sure that our folks are certified and keep their training and requirements going for that department. The last one in the CPP that is also going to be moved forward today in direction from the board is translation and scanning services. So again, thanks to that department for all their work in helping prioritize and helping us understand all those asks. The next section is in regards to the Clerk and Recorder Office. The first two items there in regards to administrative technician, both the ongoing ask there for FTE and the one-time cost of desk and computer, the board of county commissioners is giving direction to OFM to include that, to add that to the 2022 budget, as well as some of the one-time and ongoing costs at the bottom that are in yellow, that the Office of Financial Management recommended in the budget as GIS software for redistricting in 2022, the data specialists, temp hourly positions to continue the redistricting project, and then ongoing request to fund the Ballot to Go program. As some of you all know, that Ballot to Go program started initially through CARES funding. So that is our Clerk and Recorder Office. And then the next page here in the 2022 budget is still in Fund 101, and there are a few positions here that we are moving from the Community Services Department that the board is asking Office of Financial Management to include as additions to the budget in 2022, starting with the accountant, grant reporting compliance for the Community Services Department, and the costs that go along with that in both operational and ongoing operational expenses. The next item there is program manager for hardest to house clients, and there are one-time operational expenses and then also ongoing operational expenses that the board has approved as additions to the budget. And the next section of district attorney's office, we had positions approved earlier this year in district attorneys. Certainly there's been some grant funds and other FTE that the Board of County Commissioners have moved forward. We are not moving any of those items forward to the 2022 budget. The next section of Office of Financial Management, there are 3 items there: accounts receivable, accounts technician, accounts receivable, accounts technician, operational costs, and accounts receivable, accounts technician for the desk and computer. Those 3 items were part of, again, the yellow highlights, the Office of Financial Management, and part of the recommended budget that the board has approved. The next one that is an addition is Oracle. All of you, we've heard from different sectors of the county that Oracle needs some support. And so that was a really important ask to make sure that we get folks as able to use that program and be able to learn and keep that moving. So that ERP consulting service was approved, and the direction today is for OFM to move that to the 2022 budget. The next section, still in Fund 101, the human resources. As you can imagine, we just approved 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, another 12 FTEs here at the county. This total, as you'll see as we continue talking today, is about 19, I believe 19.5 FTEs. And we know that we need support to recruit, to bring people on, to retain, to do all the HR pieces that take care of you all as employees. And so there are a few items in here that the board is moving and giving direction today to OFM to include as additions to the 2022 budget. The first of that is the HR Business Partner 1 and the operational expenses, the one-time operational, and then the ongoing operational expenses for that same position. The next one that is being recommended, directed from the Board of County Commissioners is the benefits analysis analyst, HR4, the operational expenses one time, and then the ongoing operational expenses for that position, and the business partner 2, and the 2 line items under that same line item are being added. And then there's one more item here. I just hit something on my screen. Thank you. Okay, so HR Tech, which is a 0.25 ongoing, to move that position into it, to make some additional hours and FTE available for HR to do the amazing work that they are doing for us all here at the county. So that is the first section of the 2022 budget. Again, thank you to staff and OFM for all the work and all the presentation and the hours of meeting times that you have put forward and given to us to help us prepare for this budget and the recommendation.
Okay, and now I get to pick it up with the IT department, and I also want to acknowledge the many hours that Ramona Farano and Aaron Pratt and Jillian have put in, along with everybody else on their teams. And I think the 3 of them have spent more hours with the county commissioners than they probably care to spend. So they've had enough for a little while, but they have really guided us and helped us make some really hard decisions, and I think some really good decisions. I'm really happy with where we've ended up. So on information technology, as you can see, we are accepting the recommended budget in that department. And then in addition, we are directing the budget office to include the IT computing specialist 2 for AV, and the associated operational expenses for that, and the IT accounting clerk 3. I think there's just one line of associated operational expenses, unless I'm reading this wrong, and the other IT accounting clerk 3 line there. So those additional positions in IT. Moving on to Parks and Open Space. All of those items were decision items for the county commissioners. And of those, and actually, by the way, I want to say that we really tried to follow Janet Peterson, the county administrator's prioritization and recommendation on these as well. I know she worked really hard to comb through all the additional positions that were requested and to help us sort out where the priorities are. And this work reflects a great deal of work on her part. So of those additional positions that were sought by Parks and Open Space, we are recommending or directing the budget office to include the plant ecologist, and 20% of the funding for that position is going to come from the general fund, and 80% of that will come from the Parks and Open Space sales tax, and then the associated expenses for operating and equipment. On the Parks and Open Space capital budget, and Erin, stop me if I have skipped something. I don't think I did. On the capital budget, we're accepting the budget office recommendations that you'll see there highlighted. And then in addition, we are recommending that the Ohio Valley Ranch Fire Recovery position be included. No, that's capital. So I guess that's just additional capital expense for the Ohio Valley Ranch Recovery. We recommend be included in the budget. Moving down to Public Works, we are recommending inclusion of the business analyst that they have requested. So that's an FTE, and then the associated operational expenses for that position. And I think I covered those two lines, the technical resource operational expenses and the ongoing operational expenses. In the sheriff's office, we are recommending that the budget include the law enforcement lead tech records digital specialist, the canine trainer, the computer support training and development coordinator, taser replacements, the crime analyst, and the stipend for the lead dispatcher. And in addition to that, the hazmat, the expenses for providing physicals to people who respond to hazmat situations, and the vest replacement. And I would just like to say about the sheriff's department requests that we realize that a lot of additional requirements have been imposed on the sheriff's department by the state legislature. Many of them are very important, and we support those requirements, but they necessitate additional personnel to implement those laws. And so what we're providing here together, well, helps with some of those mandatory expenses, and then also helps the sheriff's department work better and keep our valuable sheriff's deputies safe and when they do their jobs. And then I'm scrolling down on Rodenbridge capital maintenance. We accept the budget department's recommendation on the vehicle equipment replacement. And then in addition, we are recommending, okay, and I'm going to sort of read a little of this, but I don't know what most of this stuff is. So I know we wanted to approve it, but what is the work NWR 200 XL, etc.? We want to buy that. Vogel Super, yes. We are approving the FY22 asphalt overlay recommendation for Old Stage Road and the Monarch and 51st area, bridge repair, scour, critical critical. What, we're accepting that recommendation, or we are making the recommendation that we fund that for 7 bridges and culverts. We would like to fund the ongoing traffic operations for striping, signal repair, those things that keep people safe on the roads, keep them in the lanes they're supposed to be in, don't let them drive off the road. We are recommending approval of the future Rodenbridge project design, the CP&P maintenance request, and that was for pathways, transit stops, bike shelters, etc. The Vision Zero intersection safety evaluation funding, very important if we're going to make progress on our Vision Zero goals, which a lot of the trends are going in the wrong direction. And so we really want to make sure that we have the tools to make progress on reducing fatalities and serious accidents. And then also funding parking enforcement for the 4th of July trailhead, very, very popular trailhead, and enforcement operations are sorely needed up there. So we're continuing that. Subdivision, Rodenbridge subdivision repairs. We are recommending that the budget include funding for the Morton Heights subdivision school safety and road improvements, and that's going to be sidewalks, drainage, and community use in that area. Coming out of the road sales and use tax, we accept the budget office's recommendation in that area on the 120th Street shoulders. And then in addition, we are recommending that the balance of those requests that you see under the road sales and use tax be included in the budget. The road sales tax has a healthy fund balance. We know that these improvements are very much sought after by the public. It's very important to the public. It's important to us that we keep up with maintenance and fund some of these other programs here. And so if that wasn't clear, I hope it was, that we are funding the balance of that. And I saw a question from Jillian, and let me get to, how can I see that on my screen? Was that in the chat? No. Okay. So then moving to, well, was that Aaron Break-In here or Jillian? I saw a question over there and then it disappeared.
Yeah, sorry, Aaron Pratt, Budget Director, Office of Financial Management. I just noticed a typo, and that's probably what Jillian was trying to advise. The Vision Zero that CPP originally requested in Fund 101, CP11, was moved to this section. It's not, I don't have it available to display at this present moment. But that request, which was for $49,000, I believe, at the end of this, I'll bring that up, and you guys can make a decision if you want this included into the Road and Bridge RM11 budget. But after we go through the full presentation, I'll bring that one up separately, and we can talk to that. Okay.
Okay, thank you. I was trying to find that comment in the chat and it wasn't there, so I didn't know how it appeared on there, but thank you. We'll come back to that.
Thank you. Apologies.
Okay. Yeah, so then going to back to parks, and we still have some work that we need to do with the CDBGR disaster recovery funding. And we are recommending that all of the requests there that you see at the top of the screen be included in the budget. And these are for emergency watershed protection projects. There's on parks grants there as well. We are recommending that all of those 2022 requests be included in the budget. These are grants that by including them in the budget, we are allowing Parks and Open Space to spend that money. And so we are recommending that that be included in the budget. And I think that's the end of my portion of this.
So I'll jump in. We are now to the trails sales and use tax, Fund 117, and I'll read the ones that commissioners want to go ahead with. Starting with the Longmont to Boulder Trail, 4 Mile Creek Trail underpass under BNSF, long-awaited underpass. Colorado 119 bikeway design, local match for federal grant. The RTD trail master plan remaining. I think they renamed that trail from Erie to Boulder, or Boulder to Erie, one of those. Anyway, that's in the budget. Longmont to Boulder Trail, J Road connection design. County Road 130 Nederland Trail design. Boulder Creek Trail retaining wall repairs. North Foothills Highway Bikeway feasibility study, and we'll have the local match for a federal grant there. And regional trails, US 36 bikeway and maintenance. And finally, St. Vrain Greenway Trail with the Town Alliance. Those are all being forwarded to be included in the budget. The Niwot lid sales tax is already taken care of in the recommended budget, so we'll go down to parks and open space donations. Fund 117, and both those things will be in there. The Parks and Open Space donation amount, letter of intent to the POS Foundation, and the same with language with 233K unspent from 2021 equals 200K pledged for 2022. Next up, we are going down to the Conservation Trust Fund. Fund 126, and we are wanting to put Adams Dairy Farms acquisition in the budget. Then open space 1994 sales and use tax. We are going to add the Dow Flats, CMEX, and Zwick acquisitions. Then jumping down to the open space 2005 sales and use tax. Again, the yellow ones are already recommended in the budget from staff. This is Fund 126 again, and it's 2 14-seat passenger vans, year 3 of 3-year plan to do that with the passenger vans and operational stewardship needs, that part of the funding in the budget. Then the open space 2008 sales and use tax. These are the staff positions, and we're recommending all of these. Resource Park Ranger, the Civilian Construction Tech 2 on the grounds, Civilian Construction Tech 2 and BHP, a resource technician in the Forestry Department, the Civilian Construction Tech 2. Why does the checkpoint always jump up when you're in the middle of things? Resource specialist, the plant ecologist, that's the 80% of that position, and then the hourly seasonal positions. Jumping down to the Sustainability Tax Fund, Fund 136. We recommend the new FTE for Sustainability Specialist 2. The new FTE CPP Bilingual Planner Mobility for All. And we recommend the Youth Transportation FTE. It's determined it's going to permanent from term position. The CPP Wildfire Partners Senior Planner to look at forest mitigation, and the Liaison Engagement Local Food Ag Ops, and then the Zero Waste Grants in there. Again, the sales tax, people probably know this, came in really well this year, better than the property tax. So that enabled us to fund those positions and the open space positions. And moving down to the General Reconstruction Fund 141, adding in the Sheriff's HQ evidence storage. The raccoons who'd like to go there will have no place to go anymore. By the way, that was the thing that we were always told would happen that was going on out there. The raccoons were getting into evidence, which is a bad idea. And then down to risk maintenance administration. Risk admin tech will add to the budget. And going to the bottom there, I think I am through. Yep, again. So that is what we're adding to the budget. And Aaron, did you want to jump in on that last position?
Yes, let me, I'm gonna do some behind the scenes magic real quick, and I'll pull up that single line item showing the correct fund and appropriation. And then whoever wants to talk about that, give me direction. Sorry about this.
There's so much detail in here, and you have done a phenomenal job tracking all of this. It's amazing.
Thank you. CPP, what's it, version 0? I guess while I'm passing time, I do want to thank you, commissioners, and the general public and all internal staff for all the assistance you guys given us over the last couple of months to get to this point of the recommended budget. Apologies.
By the way, Claire, if you cannot pronounce the item, you cannot add it to the budget, or that truck or whatever it was.
I am embarrassed to say I don't know what it was, but I do recommend we pay for it. I just have no idea what it is.
Now, what I have on the screen, I apologize again because I had to do it in Excel to be able to show it. So I highlighted this BOCC decision point, which was originally presented in the document as a Fund 101 CP11 request. But after discussion last week, we understood and got confirmation that this request can move to the Rodenbridge Fund under ARM 11, and it's the Vision Zero Transportation Power Planning hourly position at $49,188. And Claire, I think that was your section. So
that was, thank you, Aaron. And so what we need, well, do we need to just accept that recommendation, or do we need to make a change here in which fund it's being paid for out of?
yeah, so yes, I just need a recommendation because I want the explanation of saying it's moved from 101 to Fund 111 now, based off of some information we got last week. So now I just need direction from the board to include or exclude it from the budget.
And so I think we do recommend that you include that in the budget and that it come out of Fund 111.
Thank you. And that's that. Thank you, commissioners. That's the end of our presentation. And now we'll put the information together. I keep putting my cameras on. I'm sorry. We'll put the information together, and at the December 9th budget adoption presentation, we'll present the resolution documents for Boulder County, Netherland EcoPass Public Improvement District, and the Burgundy Park Public Improvement District. You'll sit as those boards, and we'll give you total expenditures and revenue projections that will be included into the 2022 recommended budget. That is December 9th. That will be a public meeting with no discussion. And that will be at 3 o'clock in the same Zoom format.
Thank you, Aaron. And just to let folks know a little bit of perspective, last 2 years, my first 2 years as commissioner, we didn't add too many FTE. We were watching our budget pretty closely for a number of reasons. We added, from my perspective, quite a few this year. Maybe it's making up. With our budget projections, it's going to be hard to keep up that pace. In fact, there's no way you can keep up that pace in my mind. But we'll know more when we do the next budget. However, I just want to caution that this was it was not easy saying no to things, I got to say, but we said yes to a lot of things this year. And we've heard from staff that they need this and how people are overworked and that kind of thing. So that's what we did this year. So that was the choice. So I think it's somewhere around 20 new FTE.
Yeah, and I think I was really proud of the decisions we made. I think they were very responsible decisions. Many of these new positions are funded out of dedicated sales tax. And as Commissioner Jones said, those sales taxes came in very strong. And Jillian Dietrich and her projections, it looks like they will continue to be strong. So I think it's a very responsible budget, and I am pleased that we were able to fund some really badly needed new positions in HR to help with that workload. Some of the accounting positions as the reorganization continues to, kind of the ripple effect of figuring out, okay, we moved these programs over and these personnel over, but oops, we didn't move sufficient web support or communication support or accounting support. So I think we're still getting things right-sided from that. And Aaron, when we do adopt that budget, the documents that are available will show that what our revenues will be, what the total expenditures will be, and the balance that we'll have that will be available if we should have another catastrophe, a wildfire, a flood, anything else that we can't anticipate, that we will have a generous cushion in our budget. So I want to emphasize here that we've been very mindful of the fact that things happen that we don't anticipate, and we need to be able to address those things. And I think that our budget allows room for that.
I want to just add in as well, a thank you to the Benefit Advisory Board, the BAB, that has helped us this year and guided some of those conversations internally with the board, and then came back to us, and that the amount of work and conversation from that group and others to advise and to help again prioritize the different positions and the work that's being done around the county, some of the interdepartmental work that's happening. It's a testament to all the work that you all are doing. So again, for us to take care of you all as employees through benefits in the compensation package that was announced today, and then of course going through the different positions to hopefully help you do your work more effectively, more efficiently, and help you all feel truly supported as staff at Boulder County. So thanks again to OFM and everyone who put a lot of the time into this work to get us to this point. And we'll be looking forward to seeing y'all with some final decisions in December.
Yep, and thanks to the budget team, of course. So with that, we are adjourned.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Everyone.